Namo Namaha Bhavtam Sarvesham Hartam Swagatam. Welcome back to this channel Sanskrit Sopanam. I hope you are doing great. I'm also good. And moving on in a series learning Sanskrit through Gita, today we will decode the 16th shloka from the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And this particular shloka also, it basically extends the idea of what we saw in the previous shloka. The theme was equanimity of mind. So basically touching on that topic only, that theme only, this shloka just further extends on that idea. But what is it and how we decode it grammatically through Sanskrit? So let us start decoding the shloka now. Okay, so this is the shloka that we will decode today. Let me go through the shloka once. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubhayorapi drishtontah, tvanayos tattva darshibhi. Okay, so this is a shloka and this single word. So this is not actually a single word, as we already know that these are multiple words that are combined together, that are joined together due to sandhi rules. So this seemingly single word, drishtontastvanayost tattva darshibhi. So the way I pronounced it, I took a break here. That is why I said drishtontah, because originally there is a visarga there after this ta. So it is drishtontah. And then I continued tvanayos tattva darshibhi. So see, because I took a pause here at this ta, that is why I took the original form, drishtontah. But if I would have chosen to continue as a single word, then instead of using this visarga, then I would have to apply this sandhi niyam. So there is a sa. So drishtontastvanayost tattva darshibhi. I could have pronounced like it. But anyways, this thing clears a lot when we see the sandhi vicheda version of the shloka. And this particular shloka actually have a lot of sandhi that is happening here. Practically between all the words, there is some sort of sandhi that is happening. So starting right from these two first words, na asataha. So there is a dirgha sandhi. So na asataha. Then again there is a ukara sandhi. So na sato vidyate. That is what is happening. Na sato vidyate. So in the very beginning there is a sandhi, then again there is a sandhi here, then again there is a sandhi here, bhavona. So again a ukara sandhi, bhavona, same sandhi happening here. Then we also have a sandhi between these two words, rutva sandhi, ubhayorapi. Okay, ubhayorapi. And then at last what we saw is these multiple words that were joining together due to sandhi rules. So see how there are multiple words that are there. There is drishtaha, antaha, tu, anayoho, tattva darshibhi. So basically there are these 5 separate Sanskrit words, but due to sandhi rules they're combining together into this seemingly single word. And so in order to pronounce such long words properly, so it is always helpful that we break these words first. Using sandhi vicheda, we break open all the individual words, then one by one we start to practice and pronounce these words. So to demonstrate what I mean is, we are starting with these two words, right? Drishtaha, antaha. And I know due to ukara sandhi, drishto, and in its place we are getting this chinna. So we are going to pronounce this combination as drishtontaha, right? We are going to pronounce these two words as drishtontaha. Okay, so we have made this clear. And then I know that antaha tu. So instead of this visargaha, we are rather going to get this sakara sandhi, right? So now we know that we are going to pronounce these 3 words not as drishtontahatu, but drishtontastu. This is what we will pronounce, right? Okay, so this much is clear. Then we will move forward and tu anayoho. So now again we know due to yana sandhi, this will become tvanayoho. A vakara will come in place of this u. So this u will cancel out. A vakara will come, that is yana sandhi. So tu anayoho, this will be pronounced as tvanayoho. Okay, so bringing all these 4 words together now is drishtontastvanayoho. That is what we see here also. Drishtontastvanayoho. Okay, and lastly, instead of this visarga, again we are going to get a sakara. Again sakara sandhi is happening here. So anyoho tattva darshibhi. We are not going to pronounce it like that. We will pronounce it with a sakara, anyos tattva darshibhi. Okay, and now combining with all these words together, we will get exactly this word. Drishtontastvanyos tattva darshibhi. So this is how we can practice how to pronounce such a long word. Okay, right. So I hope you got some idea how you can practice these things. Again, all the sandhis that I was mentioning here, everything is mentioned as usual in the PDF file. Download that PDF file from the link in the description box. This particular verse have a lot of sandhis. So go through that PDF file, practice all the sandhis that are happening here. Again, the word by word breakdown of the entire shloka is also there. Okay, so I'll not dive more into this topic. Let us directly jump and start the decoding of the shloka now. Okay, so we are starting with this kriya pada, vidyate. Okay, so because we can see this vidyate, this is repeating itself in the first line. So we are starting with this verb form, with this kriya pad. Vidyate means is. Okay, simply is, the state of being in that sense, right? Because this particular verb form is coming from vid dhatu. Vid dhatu means to be. Okay, to be, to exist in that sense. And we have seen this dhatu, this verb root before also. For example, in this particular chapter, 6th shloka, we saw this particular verb form vidmaha. And this vidmaha, this also came from vid dhatu only, this dhatu only. But don't get confused. These two are different dhatu, different verb root. So this vid, this is spelling, this is same, but in Sanskrit Ashtadhyayi, if you'll follow, so there is one verb root with that means to be, to exist. That is this one in this particular shloka. But what we saw here, vidmaha, what we saw in the 6th shloka, because there Arjuna said no, that na vidmaha katrat gariyaha, that out of these two paths, which one is gariya, which one is better, na vidmaha, we don't know. So this vidmaha, this is coming from vid dhatu, that means to know. Okay, and you may have already noticed this thing that in Ashtadhyayi, if you'll see, so there are few verb roots that have different meanings. Okay, different. The spelling is same, but they have different meanings, and they also belongs to different gana. So some may belongs to bhavadi gana, some may belongs to churadi gana. What are these gana? Maybe we'll touch up this topic in some future videos. But I just wanted to clarify here that there is one dhatu vid that means to know, which we saw the use in the 6th shloka, na vidmaha, we don't know. And there is another dhatu vid that means to be, to exist. And this particular meaning also, to be. So we have again a lot of different verb roots, a lot of different dhatu also that conveys the same meaning, to be. So the very common is us, from which we get this no asti, aham asmi, saha asti. So that as dhatu also means to be. Then we also have vrit, this dhatu, that also means to be, to happen, to exist in that sense. And then again we also have bhu dhatu, that also means to be, to happen, to exist in all these sense. So again, no, this is very typical of Sanskrit language, that we always have a lot of choice, whether it is verb roots dhatu or it is pratipadika to give certain meaning to something. So we always have a lot of parallel words. Same thing is happening here. This is actually a very good practice, that suppose you see any verb root, any dhatu, and the meaning is to be. So try and think of other dhatus that can convey the same kind of meaning. Okay, so this is how you can practice these things. But anyways, coming back to our this dhatu, vid dhatu, that means to be. The form here, vidyate, is third person, that is prathama purush, some third person, singular ekvachana, and present tense, that is normal lat lakar in Sanskrit. The form becomes vidyate. That simply means that something is. Okay, something exists, something is. And since here we have na, it is preceding it, so obviously the meaning is negated here. So something is not in that sense. Okay, na vidyate. So I hope this dhatu roop is clear. Suppose I would have taken this dhatu, as dhatu, so then the form would have been na asti, is not, same meaning. Suppose I would have taken vrit dhatu, then the form would have been na vartate. Okay, it is an atmanepadi dhatu. So vartate, vartete, vartante. This is how its roop, its form goes. And same you can see here also, no, vidyate. This is also an atmanepadi dhatu. Vidyate, vidyete, vidyante. Okay, same thing. And suppose I would have taken bhu dhatu, so na bhavati. So we have already seen all of these verb roots, verb forms before also. I am just reiterating it. But anyways, na vidyate, something is not. And now the obvious question will be, kaha na vidyate? That what? What is that is not? And the response is, bhavaha na vidyate. And bhavaha, this simply means existence. Existence, or you can think of it like state of being. Okay, in that sense. And now see, that is the beauty of Sanskrit, because see, all the verb roots know that we saw, that as dhatu, that also means to be. Then bhu, that also means to be. All these are being used in this particular shloka, along with vid dhatu, that means to be. All of these verb roots are being used in some way or another. How? So this bhavaha, so the pratipadika here is bhava, obviously, right? And just by looking at it, you can already see that this pratipadika may have come from this dhatu only, bhu dhatu only. And this of course is right, because this bhu dhatu, when this is modified by, there is one suffix that is called ghanj suffix. So when this dhatu is being modified using this suffix, we get this pratipadika bhava. And use of this suffix, we have already seen this suffix also before. The use of this suffix is this only, that to denote the bhava, to denote the state of being of that root. So bhu means to be, so bhava means being, the state of being, or simply existence. Okay, so I hope this is clear. This khan pratyay, this suffix, so suppose, just for practice sake, suppose you take this dhatu, drish dhatu means to see. And if I modify this dhatu using this pratyay, this suffix, so what I will get is the bhava of this root. So drish, to see, when modified using this pratyay, what I get, what pratipadika I get is darsh. And this darsh, this simply means sight. Okay, sight, or you can also think of it like seeing. Okay, now see the connection, combination, that bhu, to be, and when modified with this suffix, I get state of being. Same thing, drish dhatu, to see, and what I get is state of seeing. That simply refers to sight. Okay, so from a verb root, we are basically creating one noun. We are creating a pratipadika. Okay, so just giving this example to show this, what is the use of this particular pratyay. But anyways, coming back, bhavahana vidyate. That, and of course, this is here is in first word case, prathama vibhakti, right? Because this is a sort of the karta of this action. That what is not. So bhavaha is not. The existence is not. So prathama vibhakti ekvachana form, bhava, the pratipadika changing into bhavaha. Okay, very clear on this, right? So we will move on. And now the question is kasya, that I am saying that bhavahana vidyate, that existence of something is not. That is why I am asking that whose existence? Kasya bhavaha. And the response I get from the shloka is asataha bhavahana vidyate. Asataha. And asataha simply means of the unreal. So existence of unreal is not. In that sense, let us see this word first, asataha. So see, the main pratipadika here is this, sat. And this sat simply means something that is real. Okay, so think of it like in the sense of true existence, that this sat denotes something that has true existence, something that is completely, purely real. Okay, and again, we can negate the meaning by simply adding this a. Okay, so asata simply means something that is unreal. Okay, so this forms a takarant pratipadika because it is ending with a takarant pratipadika, and the form here is asataha. So for all the halant pratipadika, for all the pratipadikas that are ending with the halant, so you can see this format already, that when you have a visarga instead, so this usually denotes the fifth case or the sixth case, the panchami vibhakti or the shashti vibhakti. And of course, within the context, we can see that existence of something that is unreal. So obviously we are referring to the sixth case, right? We are not referring to the fifth case. We are referring to the shashti vibhakti. So this pratipadika asat in shashti vibhakti becomes asataha, simply meaning of the unreal. Okay, I hope this is clear. Okay, so asataha bhavaha na vidyate, that existence of the unreal is not. Okay. And further in the shloka, we again have this na vidyate. We have already seen this, that something is not. Kaha na vidyate? So abhavaha. And bhavaha, we already saw bhavaha means existence. So of course, abhavaha, we are just negating the meaning. So abhavaha na vidyate, non-existence of something is not. Okay, so I hope it is clear. We have already seen bhavaha, so just negating the meaning abhavaha. So I'll just move on, and now again we are asking the question that whose non-existence? Kasya abhavaha na vidyate, whose non-existence is not? The response we get is satah abhavaha na vidyate, that the non-existence of something that is real, something that is true, its non-existence is not. So notice how we are using double negation. Non-existence is not, just to reinforce its existence. We are using double negation to reinforce that. Okay. So the main pratipadika here is sat. Sat we already saw. Sat means something that is real. Okay. And this shabd rupa, this form satah, is of course the shashti vibhakti, sixth case singular form of this takarant pratipadika, of the real. Okay, in that sense. So I hope this first line of this verse is clear. And by the way, this satah, no, this pratipadik sat. So this also is coming from this another as dhatu, that again means the same thing, to be. So, okay, so just how we saw, no, abhavaha or bhavaha, all these words, they came from the bhu dhatu. Similarly, this sat, this pratipadika has also come from this as dhatu. This as dhatu, when modified using shatra pratyay, shatra suffix. So we get this pratipadika sat. And why we use shatra pratyay? To denote the present continuity of something. So see how beautifully they have taken the meaning, that as dhatu means to be, when modified using shatra pratyay. This pratipadika sat, this denotes the present continuity of that thing, that ongoing of that thing, that its being, its existence, its real existence. And with that logic only, we are assigning the meaning to this word sat. Sat, that is true existence, something that is real. But again, just notice that to denote this single meaning, to be. So this is the main meaning main theme we are trying to bring out. And to denote this, how we are using different verb roots. So we are using our main verb from vid dhatu. We are getting this word bhavaha from bhu dhatu. We are getting this word sata from this as dhatu. All mean the same thing. So this is just very interesting to know, beauty of Sanskrit, right? But anyways, let us now move on in the shloka. But before moving on, we have so far established this idea through the first line that something that is unreal, something that is asat. So for that thing, bhavaha na vidyate, that existence for that thing is not. So basically something that is unreal is not. And contrary to this, something that is sataha, something that is sat, that is real. So for that real thing, the abhavaha, the non-existence is not. That there is never a time that this real, this something that is real is not. So basically something that is unreal is never truly present and something that is real is never truly absent. So these are the two scenarios that Krishna has given now. And based on these two circumstances, these two scenarios, he will further elaborate in this second line. And for that, we are starting with this Kriya Pada. So, Drishtaha. Drishtaha simply means something that is seen. Okay, something that has been seen already in that sense. And by the way, this Drishtaha, so this is not actually a Kriya Pada, a verb form. It is rather a Kridanta. What is a Kridant? So, Kridant is a verb-based adjective. We have seen so many times these things before, right? So, we call them Kridanta or verb-based adjective. And since they are directly derived from a verb root, so that is why they act like a verb-based adjective also, and they more or less act like a verb also. Because now with whatever I will attach this drishtaha, so it will convey the meaning that something is seen. Okay, so if I write here that naraha drishtaha, so that person is seen. That naraha, that person had been seen in that sense. In our shloka, we have antaha drishta, that finality is seen, but we'll come to that later. This drishtaha, this is a kridant, a verb-based adjective. And this, of course, is coming from drish dhatu. Drish dhatu again means to see. We have seen this dhatu before, no? So drish dhatu, that means to see. And here we are modifying it using ta pratyay, ta suffix. Because again, I want to give the meaning that something is seen, something has been seen in that sense. That the action has already been done in the past. Okay, so drish, when modified using ta suffix, we get this drishtaha. Actually, we get the pratipadika as drishta. So we get this as a pratipadika, drishta, that will define anything that is seen, that has been seen. And since this verb-based adjective is being used with this noun, this pratipadika antaha, so since this is a masculine gender noun, so this is also assuming the same first word case, prathama vibhakti, masculine gender form. So drishtaha, that is what we see in the shloka. Okay. So something drishtaha, something is seen, and obviously the question will be kaha drishtaha. And as I already mentioned, the principal noun here, the main pratipadika here is antaha drishtaha, that the finality is seen. Okay, this antaha, this is of course coming from the pratipadika anta, and this we use in Hindi also, ant. Ant means end. Okay, end of something. So we have that meaning, but here in the context, this anta, this implies the meaning that finality of something or the final truth about something. So in that sense, think of this anta as the finality or the final truth about something. Okay, the final truth, the final realization about something. So we are talking about that. Okay, so antaha drishtaha, the finality, the final truth that is seen. Okay, and this final truth again in Sanskrit, we denote it using this pratipadika tattva. Okay, so when we refer to something as tattva, so tattva basically translates as the essence. But that essence again is the final truth about that thing. Okay, and this tattva, this is again a very interesting word we very commonly use in Sanskrit, but how it is formed is simply tat and twa. And we have seen this twa. So whenever we add this affix after something, so suppose I add it after this laghu. So laghu means short, and twa, if I add it, so it becomes the shortness. Okay, laghutva, shortness. Or guru means heavy or long, so gurutva means that longness, that heaviness. So this twa actually denotes the essence of anything. That is why in English we can denote it as this ness, shortness, heaviness in that sense. And tat, we already know this tat means that. Okay, and this word together, tattva, so that simply means thatness. Okay, thatness, or you can say that whatsoever we are talking about, whosoever we are pointing to, so we are saying thatness of that thing, that what is the true essence, what is the true reality of that thing. Okay, so that main substratum of anything is that tattva. So that is how we are getting this word also, tattva, thatness. Okay, so that is a meaning also. But anyways, I'm digressing a bit. So antaha drishtaha, the finality is seen, and again the question will be kayoho, that finality or the final truth about what? So the whose finality is seen, and we get the answer anayoho ubhyoho antaha drishta, that of these two the finality is seen. Okay, of these two, of what two? So again, the two circumstances that we saw in the first line, that something that is asat, something that is unreal, or something that is sat, something that is real. So for both the unreal and the real, for both of these two, the finality antah drashtah is seen. Okay, that is the meaning here. Aniyoho ubyoho. Let us understand these words. So aniyoho, this is coming from the pratipadika idam. Idam again we have seen very often. This is a pronoun that represents this. Okay. And ubhyoho, this is coming from the pratipadika ubha. Ubha simply means both. Okay, this again we have seen so many times in the first chapter. Senyor ubhyor madhye. That in the middle of both the armies. Ubhyoho madhye. So in that sense. And since in a way both these pronouns, they basically are pointing towards those two circumstances, that is the asat and the sat, they are pointing towards those two things. And since asat and sat, both of these pratipadika, they are a pullinga pratipadika. So they also, idam and ubha, they will also assume the pulling form, the masculine gender form. And then I want to say of these two. Okay, so of, first of all, of, this will again denote the sixth case, Shashti Vibhakti. And since we are talking about two, so of course the dual, that is the Dvivachana. Thus, Shashti Vibhakti Dvivachana form of both these words. So idam, this changes into aniyoho in Shashti Vibhakti Dvivachana, and ubha, this changes into ubhayoho, representing of these two. Okay, of what two? So of basically the unreal and real in that sense. Aniyoho ubhyoho antah drishta, of these two unreal and real, the finality, the tattva, the final truth is seen, is perceived. So of course the question will be that is seen or perceived by who? Kahi drishtaha, by who all this finality is seen, is perceived? So the answer is tattva darshibhihi. And tattva darshibhihi, this simply means by the seers of truth. Okay, by the truth knowers. In that sense, let us understand this word now. So in the shloka, we don't have a hyphen here. I am putting a hyphen. Why? Because it is a samasa, it is a compound word. So the two words that are present in this samasa are this, tattva and darshan. Okay, tattva, I already told that tattva is basically the true essence of anything. The immutable, the unchanging reality behind anything. So that is tattva. And darshan. So darshan basically means someone who sees, someone who perceives in that sense. Okay, you can already see this word, darshan. So we have this dhatu, no, drish dhatu. And actually just before, no, when we saw this bhava, that from this drish dhatu using ghen suffix, you can get a pratipadika that is darsh. And this darsh simply denotes that sight or seeing in that sense. Drish means to see, darsh, that is the bhava of that thing. So that is seeing or basically sight. And now from this darsh pratipadika, we can get another pratipadika using another pratyaya, another suffix that is ini pratyaya. And we spoke about this suffix in, I think, the 14th shloka. No, agama apayanaha. So agam apayan. So that word apayan. So where we saw the use of this ini pratyaya. So this ini pratyaya, whenever it attaches with any pratipadika, so this simply denotes the possession or what you say, the endowment of that thing. So if I attach this ini pratyaya with this darsh pratipadika, so that will create another pratipadika that will give the meaning someone or something that is endowed with sight, someone or something that is possessing of sight in that sense. Okay, so darsh plus ini, we get this pratipadika that you see here, darshan. So darshan, as I mentioned, darshan is someone who sees. Why? Because someone who is endowed with sight is basically someone who sees, someone who perceives. Okay, so tattva, that is true essence, darshan, someone who sees, that is seer, and I want to convey that the seer of tattva, the seer of the final truth. So basically what I'm trying to say is tattvasya, no, tattvasya, because I want to say of the truth. So this will change into Shashti Vibhakti if I open the samasa. So yaha tattvasya darshan, saha tattva darshan. So of course when we combine them into a samasa, so we combine them in their pratipadika state. So tattva darshan, this is what we get. This pratipadika, okay, that means the seer of truth, right? And now I wanted to convey that the finality, the final truth is seen by tattva darshan, is seen by them, by these people. So of course I'm going to use the tritiya vibhakti, third word case, and by the knowers of truth. It's not that there is some one person who sees. There have been a lot of sages, a lot of rishis who have perceived this final truth. So we are talking about all of them. So by the knowers of truth, I want to convey this. So tritiya vibhakti, third word case, plural, tattva darshan, this will change into tattva darshibhi. So this is how this nakarant pratipadika will take the third vibhakti plural form, darshibhi. So aniyoho ubyoho of these two, antaha, the finality of these two, drishtaha, is seen tattvadarshibhi, by the seers of truth. Okay. This is what Krishna is telling Arjuna. And with this, we complete these, we have understood all these words. Let us see the Anvay and translation also. So Anvay goes like, Asata bhavaha na vidyate, that the existence of Asat is not na vidyate. Right, and we can rephrase this entire line as unreal. The unreal has no existence. Okay, so this is basically a better phrasing, that the unreal has no existence and sataha, something that is real, abhava of this, the non-existence of this is not. So we can again rephrase this line as the real, it never ceases to be. So that is what we saw, that the unreal has no existence and what is real, it never ceases to be. And then Krishna says that the finality, antaha, of aniyoho ubyoho, of both, tu tattva darshibhi drishtaha, is thus being perceived. Drishtaha, it can also be seen as is seen, and basically it is, the more proper word is perceived. That the final truth of both the situations, the unreal and the real, is being perceived. Drishtaha, by who? So tattva darshibhi, by the truth seers, by the jnani person, by the people who have the enlightened wisdom, the proper viveka needed for this. And with this, we can already see the connection, the connection of this particular verse with the previous verse. In previous verse, Krishna, he told Arjuna that all these experience, all these things, all the basically everything that you perceive through your sense organs, everything that your mind, the sensation or the feeling your mind handles, or the ideas, the thoughts that your intellect handles, all these things are but fleeting in nature. They are temporary. Agama payana, they come and they go. So all these things are basically unreal. So they are real for the moment they are happening. So for that exact present time they are real. But if you are talking about the real truth, that whether they are real forever, so no, obviously no. So the only thing that is real through and through is the self, the Atma that is within. Okay, so that is what he's referring to here. And then the question is that why do I need to realize this? That okay, I understand what you're saying, that only the Atma is real, everything else is just fleeting. It is just, it is not real in the true sense. Okay, I know this, but what is the need of realizing this? So that is what we saw in the previous shloka, that to attain sama dukkha sukham dhiram, that to attain a mind that is equanimous in both the sorrows and happiness, the failures and the success, to attain that, you have to realize this. Because only when you realize this, then only you will develop a healthy detachment with the things. Okay, because what generally happens is, whenever there is a moment in the present, so the problem is, until that moment has arrived, so we live in the anxious anticipation of that thing. And we are constantly in worry that whether that thing will actually happen, whether it will happen the way I want it to, whether it will happen to me, when it will happen, how soon it will happen. So that anxious anticipation is always torturing us, is always tormenting us. But anyways, then the exact moment comes. But when it comes, then also we are in worry. Because now we are constantly worrying about the future, that whether this will stay with me. What if I lose it? What if whatever I have achieved goes away? What if it changes? How long will it stay with me? So you see the problem, that we are never actually in the present moment, because either we are living in the past, we are anxious, we are anticipating what is to come, and when that thing actually comes, then we are constantly worrying about the future, that will it stay with me, will it change, will it go away, what if it goes away, what will then become of me? So that is the problem, and that is why Krishna is saying that sama dukkha sukham dhiram, that we have to attain this equanimity of mind. And we can only attain this when we develop a healthy detachment, the vairagya required for that. And how can we achieve that vairagya, that healthy detachment? Is when we realize that all these things are but fleeting in nature. And whatever is real always stays, whatever is unreal, it comes and it goes. Agama payana, it comes and it goes. So Vedanta Darshan simply tells this, that try to realize the real substratum, the real changeless substratum that is beneath everything. Because this world is full of changes, and the change can only happen when there is some unchanging substratum, some unchanging foundation behind it. Then only from that perspective we can even witness the change. It is just like when we go to a movie theater. There in the movie theater, that white sheet, that white screen. So think of it like that white sheet never changes. It is only when a new movie is projected on it, And all the audience, we, when we go and watch a movie, we never realize that white sheet. What we see is the movie, is the experience that is being played on it. And the moment for the duration until that movie runs, okay, that is real. But as soon as that movie is over, then in the next show again, there is some other movie that is running on that. So it is yet another experience that we are witnessing on that, we are witnessing on ourselves. But all these experience, all these movie shows, they start, they happen, and then they go. Same is the case with our experience also, that all these experiences, they happen to us because we are conscious, we are aware, due to that self, we are aware. So we witness that experience, we perceive it, we feel it, and then those experiences pass away. So that self is like that movie screen, that white screen, that it is completely unchanging. Nothing changes in that. It is only the different movies are projected on it. For a time, they come, they play, they part, and they go. That is what the same is with Sat, this Atma, the self, that is the real thing that is beneath us. And when we realize this, that there is this changeless substratum beneath us, then all these experiences, all these success, failure, happiness, grief, sorrow, all these things, we can very well understand that these are just but fleeting experiences. They come, they will play their part, they will go. So, okay, we can stay in the present, we can enjoy them, cherish them, but we don't need to cling to them. We don't need to attach ourselves to them. A healthy detachment, the vairagya, is very necessary. Then only we can act with a samatva buddhi, with a equanimous mind. That is what is again and again being repeated in these verses. But anyways, that was the entire decoding of the shloka. I hope all the words and everything was clear. Again, there are a lot of sandhis that are happening here. So please download that PDF file, go through the sandhi section, keep on practicing that also. And if I miss out anything, you will find that in the PDF sheet. I'll meet you in the next video with another shloka. Until then, stay awesome, stay happy. Vayam punha milamaha. Dhanyavad.